Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the June Keys Penguin Habitat. My name is Michelle, and I'm joined today with intern Sawyer, and she is calculating all the fish that I've been feeding out. Now, a popular question is, what kind of food do these animals eat? Well, they get a mixture of herring and capelin, and everything is restaurant quality. So if you were hungry and you wanted to eat some herring, this is perfectly fine for you to do so. Now, what she is doing is looking at the food that I'm giving. It's the same, I promise. Penguins are much like feeding 3-year-olds, so I do see some youngsters out there. So penguins can be very picky with food. It's the same. I have other fish in here. There are penguins in South America who would love this herring. So you can see that I will always offer food. Sometimes they'll eat it, sometimes they won't. We are in our pre-molt molt. So right over here you see Admiral Fancy Pants. His pants are not that fancy right now. And that's because he is getting ready to lose all those feathers. Now in the front you see a stare. Now you can just see a little bit of feathers on his face, but his coat looks nice and new, and that's because it is. He is nearly finished with his molt. Poor little Admiral is just about to start. And so what happens is they gain about 1 to 2 kilos. They gorge themselves on food. So a normal day, you would have a penguin eat anywhere from 3 to 4 pieces of fish, of capelin. On days like this, let's see, yeah, we're looking at like 7 to 9 herring, I think. Who was it? Fisher just had 10 herring. And a herring is a good-sized fish. I mean, it's not small. Whatever our oldest bird and our smallest bird just put away close to 50 capelin. And a capelin looks like this. But when you look at whatever, she's about this tall. So I don't know where she puts it. She puts it somewhere, but they bulk up. So they'll gain quite a bit of weight before they go into their molt, because what their body is doing is just swelling up and allowing those feathers to start kind of leaving the skin. And that's why Admiral looks like this. And that's why he's always looking for us to start giving him nice little scratches, because that helps him. It's called allopreening. And so what Sawyer's doing is she's scratching him, and that's causing him to start scratching himself. You'll see this being done with other penguins, penguins to penguins, especially if they're mated. So they will try to help out their fellow penguins. You can see Paddles over there. Her partner is Ludwig, who just came out, so he will help her along. Normally during this time, they're not spending a lot of time in water because they are not 100% waterproof. So they get a little waterlogged when they go in. And we have animals in various stages of molt right now. So we want to make sure that we do as much as we possibly can for them. Now we have 20 penguins on exhibit, ranging in ages from 2 to all the way up to 16. Now in the back we actually have our 3 chicks. You may have heard about them. They've been on our social media quite a bit. We have green, red, and purple, and they are over 100 days old now, and they are in the back. They are going to be coming out every so often just because we need to get them practice swimming, but they will not be fully released until later on this month. Make sure to keep an eye out on that. Now, one thing that you can hear is that when you have molt going on, there's a lot of emotions going through the penguins, very much territoriality going through, and so you'll see penguins start going into nest boxes that they shouldn't. They'll start kind of fighting with each other just because it doesn't feel all that great to go into a molt because they look miserable. And I'm being completely anthropomorphic, and that word just simply means giving human qualities to an animal. Again, that's anthropomorphic. But these guys, they look pretty like they would rather do anything else but go through a molt. But what they do is they go through it, and then they end up looking like gats in a stare. Very beautiful. And this is only happening once a year, so they can be happy with that. But like I said, they'll bulk up quite a bit. All of our penguins now, no longer have their name badge or their bracelets, like we call them, because when they go through this molt, they get really big. Like I said, they swell up quite a bit, and everything swells up, and so they can actually get pinched by their bands. So we take all their bands off, and what I do when I go feed them is now I look at their dots. Each penguin has a unique pattern of dots on their chest. It's almost like a fingerprint that we use. And so you'll notice that when I was feeding, I'm calling up my phone because I have pictures of all the penguins on my phone, and I'm scrolling through them, looking at the penguin going, okay, who am I feeding right now? Because like I said, we want to make sure that all the food that we're giving is going to the correct penguin and really making sure of how much each penguin's getting. And now it's really important that I do this because some penguins are really quite friendly, and then we have some penguins that are not. Andy, who is right in front of me, falls in that later category. So he looks like he's a little itchy, and I would offer, but he's not like Admiral. We can't go up and give him little scratches like we would Admiral because he gets a little snippy at us. And so I just let him and his mate go ahead and do that, and that's perfectly fine with me. Now, some things that people often wonder, things like, where's the ice? Well, these are temperate penguins. They're found off the coasts of South America, so you're going to be seeing them in the same type of temperature. The only difference is our water is around 65 degrees here. That mimics the water found off that coastline. And so if they get a little too warm, they just pop in there and cool off. Now, like I said before, when they're in their molt, they do not swim. So what we have done is we've created a mister system inside. So when it gets over a certain temperature, we make sure to turn those misters on so that the penguins are nice and comfortable. Well, at this point, it looks like everybody's done. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but I would like to say thank you all for coming to the aquarium because your admission does help us take care of all of our animals. So for myself, Sawyer, and all the penguins here, we hope you enjoy your day at the Aquarium of the Pacific, and we hope to see you again real soon.